Whenever you say you don't,
we're live.
So whenever I look at it, I'm just like, okay, that's cool to know, which it does give us some insight. But
what do you see yourself in 5 years with this show?
Like a slip and slide Funland USA named after us.
Like, are we talking right here? Okay.
Maybe
Dude.
Goofy Golf. I don't know.
Fun Time USA would be amazing.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself?
Right there with you with that. Definitely, I would definitely want, like, what was a go-kart track across the street? Across the street from was it Big Play? Was it Big Play?
where the dinosaur was.
Yeah, is that Big Play?
I mean, I don't think it used to be called Big Play.
No, what was it? Biloxi Beach or Biloxi? I can't remember.
I remember the dinosaur.
Biloxi Beach Arcade.
I remember Kuko's being right next to it.
How old were you when Katrina hit?
I would have been 23.
Okay, so yeah, I was 18, I think. Yeah, it's hard to remember back then. I remember the Hooters on the beach and the Cuckoos and all,
17 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you work at Cuckoo's?
I did not like it.
Remember the fried ice cream you got?
That's what I was going to say. I remember the fried ice cream.
They even had the Ruby Tuesdays used to be hitting right there on the beach back when Ruby Tuesdays was a fire.
Cuckoo's tried to make it in Hattiesburg for a while. They tried.
So that wasn't a chain. That was something local to down here.
I don't know. Were they the same?
That's the only one I ever knew of.
I'm not really 100% sure.
If we're talking,
if anyone knows, y'all let us know.
I mean, because my mom, hey, shout out to Susie. My mom loves margaritas, chips and salsa. So do I.
If we're talking way back, I mean, you got Slippery Sam's
yeah.
right across the street.
Yeah. Slippery Sam's was fire, but you had to have the water shoes or the bottoms of your feet. We're going to pay for it the next day.
Yeah.
Carrick McEwen's, I think his sister,
Aaron.
We used to go there at night.
Yeah. I remember she was a lifeguard there.
Night slide?
Yeah, it would be at nighttime and close down, and a bunch of us would go, like Michael McDermott, Carrick. I mean, the whole Mercy Cross crew.
Good old days.
It was a lot of fun. It was kind of dangerous because it was nighttime. I mean, let's be honest, them things were sketchy.
Yeah.
If you lost your mat, you're going to bleed.
They're back.
So you never worked at Cuckoo's. Where'd you work when you're 23?
I was in college. I was in Mississippi State at the time.
Go Dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, go Dogs.
Let me know whenever we go live so I can tell my.
We are live.
We've been live.
Yeah.
Hey, Ramsey, Kate, and Haven. Told them I'd give them a shout out as soon as we got started.
Oh,
okay.
Their bedtime 7:30, so told them to ask their mama if they could stay up.
Good dad.
Yeah, let me say hello. So, hey, babies, love y'all. Time to go to sleep.
You gonna drop into a story?
Was I gonna drop into it?
Yeah, you got a story about your dad right now, or are you gonna wait for that one? Okay, well, Garrett, drop that intro. All right.
Let's go.
Hey. Welcome back to another episode of Captain Susie's Kids.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Nick Strayham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
All right, Nick, where you from?
Biloxi, Mississippi. So, born and raised there. Actually, St. Martin, if you want to get technical about things.
I love it.
Jackson County.
Sting them.
Yeah, we lived in grew up outside the city limits, so kind of grew up doing whatever we want to do right on the other side of the Jackson-Harrison County line.
Is it true you used to have a 4Runner?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Is this before you worked at Cuckoos, or?
This was the 4Runner was in college. That dude was sick.
How many miles did it have on it?
Man, I know when I sold it, I had 185,000 on it. But so that was my college mobile. So driving back and forth to Starkville every weekend, I mean, it added up quick. But that was I don't know where you got 4Runner from just now, but that's pretty funny.
I had
like
a Silverado, and I drove it. I think I had 80,000 miles on it when I bought it, and it had like 220 after college.
Did you have 210s in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you're one of my friends from St. You weren't from St. Martin if you didn't have 210s in the back.
The little flip up screen, the screen to come out the dash.
I didn't have that.
I had a
wasn't
purple
rich.
Civic.
I wasn't a rich kid, I
don't know.
I had the little pop off. You could put it in the case so no one would steal it. Your CD.
Are we talking about
And
the?
it had a hand remote controller, so it was pretty
Are we
fancy.
talking about the long wheelbase standard?
No. I got rid of that one for college.
Okay.
Yeah.
That thing was bad.
Yeah, I still see that truck every now and again.
Somebody still driving
down
that?
the road. Yeah, with the pinstripe on the side.
How's that? You know that Chevy has that really pretty green. It's like a.
That is he sending me to the hunter green.
No, this is the teal.
That-
green.
Oh yeah.
It's that back in the
Only
90s
made
too.
in the 90s too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a long wheelbase single cab with a bench seat on the front, and the shifter on it was a standard. The shifter was like the size of a leg.
You know, I still put the Senate trees on my mirror.
Scented trees, the little pine trees.
Yeah. How about you?
Man, whatever the detailers put in there.
Oh,
I think it's new car.
new car. Okay.
New car we're going with.
I'm pretty sure some of our listeners probably don't even remember what they used to drive.
That's what I was just fixing to ask. Have we started? Was that your first vehicle?
No,
Okay,
no,
so-
the long wheelbase was yeah.
Okay. So what was your first vehicle?
It was my first vehicle was a Honda CRX, and then right after that I got a purple 2-door Civic that I always drove.
I thought you were going to say it was that Scion downstairs.
No, I still have that now.
20-something
Yeah.
years. That's about when you started driving.
Yeah,
I've been trying to get
that
Jordan
had been
to
one
do
of the
one of the
first.
hamster commercials with it.
I'm not getting
Yeah.
rid of that thing.
I pulled up. I was like, still has it.
Oh yeah, and I still got the scooter.
That's to say the
Just
Vespa. No, not a Vespa.
it's a Honda Ruckus.
Ruckus.
Yeah, I still got it.
Yeah.
No, the Scion's not going anywhere. Just there's no point. I want to be that guy.
Sentimental value.
Well, my son's gonna have that eventually. It will be an antique
That's
if
what
it's
he
not
said.
right
It's gonna
now.
be antique by the time he gets.
What is
Oh.
antique? 20 years?
25.
25?
And then it's as I understand, it might have changed, but it's $25
For
for the
tag.
tag, and then you're done.
Would you? I mean, you got rid of the Forerunner. Do you regret that?
Do I regret getting rid of the Forerunner?
Yeah, like you'd have it for a hunting truck right
I
now.
had some bills to pay at the time.
Yeah, but do you miss it?
Toyota makes a good vehicle.
Huh?
I'm trying to remember what I got in its place. That I know. Man, I don't remember what I got.
No, you sold because I remember we Hertz. You
Yeah,
sold
it
it for
was out
like
front.
you had a company truck.
Yeah, that is why I sold it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a note. That's why
That's
I sold
a
it. I was
good
able to
reason.
Put
That's
that
a
money in
good
the
reason.
bank. Yeah, that was the good old days. That was 15 years ago.
15 years.
What have you been doing in the last 10 years, Nicholas?
So I think what we should do before we talk about that is kind of explain
You don't just
how
want
we
to
got to
wrap this
the
all up
10
in 5
We're
minutes.
not going to wrap it up. We're actually going to make it longer. So Jojo, I think we should start with how did we first meet?
It was
because what you're asking
So I first met you. I was cleaning your toilets at Hertz, and you were the sales coordinator.
before that, our first encounter.
Did y'all fight in the club?
No.
Arm wrestle?
You got to tell me then.
So whenever y'all first started cleaning the bathrooms and mopping the floors and all that, there was some stuff that came up missing.
Oh yeah, you got
y'all
robbed.
Y'all were doing it at night.
Yeah.
And we had some stuff come up missing, stolen. And so the manager at the time was like, hey, instead of y'all doing it at night, would y'all mind doing it during the day? And because I never met you whenever you were doing it at night. It wasn't until you, because
Yeah.
your dad, you were somehow or another involved with your dad at the
Yeah.
time.
Way back in the shout out to Dad.
Did he own the Jenna King?
He did, and then I got it from
You
him.
bought it from him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had you. It was Hertz and Aladdin Construction, which I still got Aladdin. Yeah, I had you and Hertz. Yeah, you caught the guy on camera though. Of eventually, huh? You like
Yes.
stepped away to use the restroom, and the dude.
Correct. That dude was ended up caught, but the manager that had brought y'all in, yada yada, Ben. It wasn't until y'all started cleaning during the day that I met you. And then so JoJo would come in whenever he wanted to. He was supposed to be around like certain time, but he would just show up when he pleased. And man, just as he was mopping, we just bullshit, just talk, tell stories.
Were you
whatever.
really like feeling him out, thinking he might be the culprit of the theft? Or
No, not at all.
No, he was, but he was sales
Because-
coordinator. You were like kind
I
of
was
at
on, yeah,
the entry level. It was like the sales.
Yeah, this is 2000. This would be June 2007.
Yeah.
June 2007, and we just kind of the guy we caught on camera, so we knew that it wasn't them. But the manager at the time had already said, "Hey, we're going to switch y'all to during the day where there's no issue at all." And man, that would have been like I said, February, March, somewhere in there is when I first met you. But June is whenever y'all went to doing it during the day, and so Jordan just come in. I'm what 5-10 years older than y'all.
Yeah, I'm 35.
I'm 35.
So I'm graduated college at this time and living the real life and like waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and JoJo coming in and telling stories.
Living vicariously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm like that now. I did have a home. I had a home though. I mean,
yeah,
I paid some bills.
No, you getting started?
How many years did you do coordinator though? That's
6 months.
How'd you get into sales? Like just because you're good at bullshitting, or
so
I got it.
You used to work at Mossy Oak, I believe, right?
Correct. I worked at Mossy Oak before, whenever I was at Mississippi State. I don't know, worked there 2 years or so.
Like the camouflage Mossy Oak.
Yeah, correct. I actually worked for Hayes Outdoors, which is the.
Were you a model?
I started working there when I was in college, and I worked there till I graduated. And whenever I graduated, I had an opportunity to work full time there or move home with not knowing what I was going to do. So I had a decision to make. I moved home and got the job. Actually, whenever I took that job, this is something I was thinking about. Whenever I took that job, I took it as just like a job to be making money until I could find a real job. I just graduated college and started working there. And one day I started talking to one of the salesmen that worked there, and he came over and showed me his commission check. It was like $15,000, $16,000. I was like, damn, was
that a month?
Yeah, you remember? I don't know if you remember Jimmy, the guy Jimmy. I don't know. You're probably first year of you doing it. He was the salesman.
I don't think so.
One day his wife pulls up. He's got a brand new Lexus. Got 3 kids. I was like, damn, Jimmy, what's your wife do? He's like, oh, man, she doesn't work. She just takes care of the kids. And then
so just off of renting or heavy equipment,
renting heavy equipment. And whenever you showed me that check, I was like, well, I gotta do this. So man, that's just I set my mind to it. And was it January of 2007? Actually, the market was new at the time. That's why Hertz had just opened up. There's what they called a greenfield. Didn't have any locations here. Wasn't really sure what the market could do. And so they put Jimmy in it and we're kind of growing it. And I told him, I was like, there's a whole market that we're not even touching. And they created a position for me called a marketing representative, put me in it, see what I could do. And after 3 months, it made me a sales rep. So then I was a sales rep a couple months after that.
And then you went from sales.
You're in sales.
Then you went to sales reps to you moved up. You went like manager of the store.
Yeah.
Does that come by really selling a lot of product, or
man, it happened just
knowing the right people? Or
so earlier I was talking about how there's just opportunities in your life that you just got to seize, and this is one of those ones where saw the opportunity. One of my biggest customers at that time was DuPont, and they were just being neglected. Nobody's taking care of them, and took their account over, and that was one of that and several other jobs that kind of got everything kickstarted. But seemed to have done well in it. So I did the marketing rep for 3 months, January, February, March of 2008, and then became sales rep, I guess, April. And then October became branch manager. So I was sales rep for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months. And then became branch manager in October of 2008. And then held that gig for about, I don't know, a year and a half, and then the oil spill hit. And this is just another example of one of those opportunities.
And that was the BP oil spill.
That was the BP oil spill.
Yeah. They're still having 3-eyed fish and stuff wash off. So.
Right. And so that was just another one of these opportunities that got this huge opportunity to rent equipment. It was laser focus from the CEO, all the executives level, because of this opportunity of all this equipment. We had the opportunity to rent and just capitalized on it. And that got me, I guess, noticed by the higher ups, and so then I became regional sales manager in 2011, early 2011.
So you did it for a minute. Yeah. Till, man, that was foggy to me. We're going back 10 years.
We're trying here.
That's good, though. You got to remember that.
Yeah. So
everything paves the way.
Correct. So around about this time, 2010, 2011, whenever my wife and I, Tracy, we started dating, got married, and started talking to her dad. Her dad was the owner of Lamy Electric. And started just going to lunch to him every couple months. And I don't know, probably after a year or so of going to lunch with him, I told him, I said, man, one day I'm going to buy Lamy Electric. It'll happen. It's just a matter of when. And so we.
Did he take you serious?
I'm not sure. That's something you have to know.
Is he watching?
I highly doubt.
Like, so I was just telling you, like, whenever I want something, you gotta say it, you gotta put it out there, and if you don't, you're never gonna expect him to just give it to you. So you gotta, lead with your front foot. So I respect you for that.
Yeah,
but did you have the ambition or the idea of taking it to where it is now? Then, or
so that's a good question. So since I was a little kid, young, I worked for my uncle, and he was a home builder. And he hired me one summer to work for him. I'm probably like 14, 15 years old.
Is your uncle still in business?
Yeah.
Plug his business right now. We will plug you on this show.
Yeah.
So I think he's still in business. Alexander Builders. It's my mom's brother, Joe.
Okay.
He's a very good
We
carpenter.
hope you're still in business.
Yeah, no, he's in business. His shop's still there. He does like cabinet work for him to pour driveways. Man, it was like the hardest 2 weeks of work in my life. I get my paycheck. I did the math on it, and dude was paying me $3.50 an hour.
Wow.
Way to go.
That was the point in my life where I decided this is not what I want to do.
Well, yeah, 14, 15.
Yeah, I'm going to get some type of job where I'm using my brain more than my back, because it just wasn't. I'm not saying I'm a lazy person. That's what I enjoy doing. And not getting me wrong, I enjoy working on things and physical activity, but
I don't like sweating. I learned that. It's probably my biggest downfall, but
may have had something to do with it. But I think that $3.50 just maybe reflect on it's not what I want to be doing. So through my life, everything, the decisions that I've made and looked at is how can I get out of, I don't want to say get out of, but the manual labor side of it. Again, it's not, it almost comes across as sounding lazy, but
smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned that was kind of the turning point, not turning point, but the point in my life which I thought deep about it. And I don't say deep, but it made me realize this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so all my motivations came from that. But then we're getting back to we were talking about my progression through Hertz Equipment Rental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how met my father. And I said, look, like telling your business, I'm going to buy your business one day. And I said, one day I'm going to get fired. Something's going to happen at Hertz where it happens all the time, middle management. At this point in time, I'm a regional manager. And even in my interview for that position, I asked him, I said, every time there's any type of hardships throughout this company, you'll always get rid of middle management. It's like, how do I know that it's not going to happen to me? We cannot guarantee, promise anything. So I knew it going into it. And so in our conversations, they were leading towards one day something happening. And January of 2015, this random corporate dude comes in and asks to use my phone in my office. Like, yeah, go ahead. And he comes up about a minute later. He's like, hey, I need you in your office. I walk in there and he's I've got so-and-so with HR on here. And we just wanted to let you know that you're not part of our 2015 business plan. So at that point in time, I'm like, no arguing with that. I did ask him if he was serious. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I said, all right.
That's a weird way to fire you.
Hmm?
That's a weird way to fire you.
That's how they did it. I'd been there for, what was that, 9 years? 9 years I've been there. And there's so many long, after that, there was this whole non-compete thing and all that, but I ended up, so that happened on a Tuesday, and that Friday I started at Lamy Electric.
So everything happened.
Did you really take your shirt off and throw it?
No, I don't know who told you that, but I did not do that.
Did you double bird on the way out?
No, I did. I did drive my own company vehicle home, which is like their protocol is where an employee drives you home. And he told me that. And so Eric McNally was the manager at the time. And he said, the dude told me, he said, you got 5 minutes to clean your office out. I said, all right.
Why was it 5 minutes?
I don't know. I didn't give him none. I just turned around and went and got Eric. Said, Eric, let's go. And I went and got in the truck. I drove us home. I was like, I just got fired. So I'm going home. And to this day, I feel bad about doing that to him because here he is bringing his best friend home that just got fired. And we went home and he drove my truck back home. And I come back like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days later and got all my stuff. But that was I always told all my employees at the time, I was like, in these large corporations, man, you're just a number. They're only going to take care of you as long as you're taking care of them. And that was just proof of that whole concept there.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about it.
How'd you feel though? I mean, like you had a couple of days off and you knew you're going to start your job Friday.
No, I went to work that Wednesday morning.
Were you scared, or were you like, I mean, because you were there with Hertz.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
you were working your ass off at Hertz.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's a long time to be with a company.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, you're asking if I was scared. There was a lot of uncertainty. My wife was 8 months pregnant with her second child, and so here I am, got terminated, no health insurance. The vehicle I had at the time, like we talked about, was a company vehicle. I mean, no source of income. I mean, you try and save up for crazy stuff, but I mean, she's pregnant. She can't work. She owned a tumbling and cheerleading gym at the time. So she had no income because she's on bet. She went on
where Atlas Automotive is right there.
Correct. Right there on Lemoyne. She did that for 10 years. But yeah, it was yes, if I was scared, I mean, sure. I guess there was some element of scared there, maybe more uncertainty than anything else, but it was a very humbling time in my life. I mean, I was doing very well. And to go from that, but at the same time, I always also looked at it this is my opportunity. This is all these meetings, all these lunch meetings we had. So that happened, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. Probably called him 9 o'clock or so. Said, hey, this was discussed several times. I'm like, I'm going to get fired.
So you knew. You had
just a matter of time. I mean, and anybody in that position today can still vouch for that. I mean,
do you feel like, because if you look at and you can start with your Lammy Electric, but I mean, I've watched you grow because me and you've always checked in on each other every time. I've seen Lammy Electric grow from what it was to what it is now. Do you feel like some of that stuff you learned in the corporate world helped you grow it?
Undoubtedly. I mean, I never in a million years would have ever realized, man, this is there's a lot of components to this, but I'm sure other people can vouch for this. There's just crazy how different things in your life just happen for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
And so whenever I was having these lunch meetings with my father-in-law, never in a million years would I understand the value of the role that I was playing at that time from a relationship perspective, from a business management perspective, from a personnel management perspective, from a purchasing, inventory management, marketing, advertising. I got a PhD in business while making, call it decent money in the equipment rental industry. And I mean, I could not have been more well equipped. So for example, whenever I would go in customers' offices, there was no selling the name for one. We've been in business for 80 something years.
Yeah.
And then these relationships that I had, I was already renting equipment to all the municipalities, city blocks, I mean, all of the ones we do business with now. So there was no,
learning curve,
no roadblocks there. It's like they knew what I could provide and what I would,
So do you pull wires?
Hey, man, I'll do anything. I back to my whole thing about the physical labor part. That kind of maybe had come off as being lazy, but it's really not that part of it. It's more about where you can provide more value.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel.
As doing concrete work. And I think that might have come off earlier saying like that I didn't want to work or be lazy. It's more about I'm only making $3.50 doing this, or I can go do something that provides a whole lot more value.
Oh, absolutely. And then you got to have the logistical person to put the other parts of the puzzle.
I wonder why with corporate businesses, I wonder why you're just a number. Because I mean, if they really spent more time on their star employees and stuff, because you're right. Like even in the car industry, my dad's always been like a GM in a car dealership, and watching as a kid, like my dad's always worked in the franchise car dealerships, the Nissans, and every time they had I remember him telling me, he's like, yeah, he hit record-breaking numbers one month, and then the next month kind of slowed down a little bit. Well, in that third month, he was gone, and it was like a 3-car difference. And it was like watching that, and he moved to, of course he went to another dealership, but it's like he never stayed longer than, I don't know, 2 years in GM roles. He was always during monthly sales. It was weird.
So I don't really have an answer to that. But what I can say is that whenever you get in the corporate world, and this really can apply to just business management in general, but every employee is either an asset or a liability. You're either an investment or an expense as an employee. And so in the corporate world, as long as you're an asset or an investment, you're providing a return for that company, everything's good. You may not be you may be recognized, you may not be recognized for it. But the moment that you become a liability or an expense to that company, that's when you start red flags start coming around you. I don't think that I was ever a liability. I still don't know why they let me go. I did find out that there was other people that were part of that day that got let go. I was not the only regional manager. There was like 8 other regional managers that
was that Paul Michael involved too. Shout out to Paul and his beard.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paul Michael and his beard.
So at this point in time, Paul actually was at a branch manager level. He can correct me. I don't know if he's watching, but he can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he was on a branch manager level at the time. And so I was the sales manager for Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Panhandle of Florida. Well, I had on the sales side, there was an operations manager that was strictly responsible for the management side of it. And he was also let go. And so Paul moved into, again, he can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I might be a little bit off on the timelines there, but Paul ended up becoming Eric's boss because they cleaned out house. It's just what happens. It's you're expendable.
You think it's happened again since you've left? It's probably happened.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
100%.
Are they around still?
Who's that? So they're like Herc, HER. So it's Hertz Equipment Rental Corporation, HERC, and then they spun off like right whenever I was leaving. They spun off, and they just named themselves Herc.
Yeah, we had Boating for Baby with Cap and Al's, and we went. Wayne hooked us up at a United Rentals on some air cooled fans, and where Wheat works.
Yep.
But it was I was talking about it and telling about you, like you, because I used to clean Hertz, and it's weird, seeing some of the guys that are over there now, and I don't know what they do with all the mechanics, because like I remember our last day, like me cleaning the Hertz, it was kind of like a 2-week notice, like they're shutting down.
All of them go but one.
They shut down the whole branch. And like 2-week notice. It wasn't even a big notice. It was like, guys, you're either going to go to Mobile or.
It was, so that's whenever it was Herc, right? It got shut down as Herc.
Yeah, but they gave like a small notice.
Yeah,
it was
it was nothing.
It was like, guys, find a new career. And when you work at that company,
all but one mechanic.
Yeah, and the mechanics, they're certified. Perry and all them, Mike, shout out. But they would, yeah. But this is their careers, and it's like, oh, guys, you got 2 weeks. Yeah. You can either drive an hour. Or
the people that let them go, they were still gainfully employed. They were getting their paychecks. It doesn't matter, but it just goes back to saying, and then my example, that store was looked at as a liability, and so they
just canned the whole thing.
The problem with it was it could have been easily fixed. It was whatever. We're getting in the hypothetical. So.
Yeah, they just needed the Iron Chef to show.
Hey, what kind of comments we got, Garrett? Guys, producer Garrett Johnson's behind the camera.
Yeah,
Keith Wilson. Y'all wild, is it?
Y'all are wild.
Yeah, we are.
We're wild.
Keith. We are.
All right, let's go. Benji, let's go.
Nick's inaugural show. Rocky, shout out.
What up, Rocky?
Oh, Rocky.
All right. Best podcast
awesome.
ever.
Cully's one of my buddies from college.
What up, Boothby?
5K, buddy.
Dang.
John Boothby. Hello, John.
He wants Butler to be governor so bad.
Butler be a good
We're
governor.
waiting on the Boothbys to fund the race.
I wonder, is Boothby's coming on the podcast?
I should probably come.
We've reached out.
Yeah. We need you
want to set a date?
We need a commitment out of you guys. So everything you're saying you learned, thus far has prepared you for your everyday decision. Now I live my life that way. I say everything happens for a reason. If you don't believe that,
Michael,
then you'll go crazy.
Hey, what company he's at? He's down the road now.
He's owning his own business. So he was right after. And again, everything can be fact checked that I say. He owns his own business now.
Drop your business in the comments. Plug it.
We will plug you.
We will plug you.
Anybody in this listening right now, if you got a business, drop it in the comments and we will plug you.
Yeah.
They will. I won't.
Rocky Miguez. I'm
dyslexic, so I might read it wrong, but you're good. Yeah, no, you're doing good though, and
No,
you're taking over the coast. Do you think you'll ever be mayor?
You're not even catching any fish.
so all I'm doing is just bringing us back to our roots, man. So, like I mentioned earlier, we've been in business since 1940, which is hell of an accomplishment. I'm the third owner. Like I said, I bought it from my father-in-law, but
Who had it before him?
a guy by the name of Paul Lamy, and what's really cool about, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, I did. I'm a member of the Biloxi Businessman Club. Have y'all ever been to a Biloxi?
Cree invited me to come last week, and I was too busy to come. I need to. So my Uncle Richard was in it, and he passed away. So
I'd be happy to have one of y'all at a time.
I'll be your date.
As a guest.
I'll be your date.
Southern Lawn Equipment and HDD Supply.
Yeah.
There we go. So, doing good, Mike.
Harrison Realty. Shout out Holly.
What's up? She's been 140 years in business.
That's very impressive. It's awesome. Going way back.
Streetcar PR. Okay, Keith. Hey, I thought you were with Biloxi too, Keith.
He's moonlighting.
Yeah. Everybody just plug whatever you want.
Oh shit, I forgot what we were saying. What was telling about?
So Paul Lamy owned it, then your father-in-law bought it.
So
and
your father-in-law is not a Lamy.
I was talking about I'm getting to my roots here. So Paul Lamy, okay, so I'm a member of Biloxi Business Club.
Okay.
Did a presentation about 6 months ago. And man, for those of y'all that have go to Biloxi Business Club, yada yada, it's a tough crowd. Like you better not waste anybody's time. And if you do, or there's something controversial, it's gonna be brought up, it's gonna be discussed. So anyways, I tried putting time into my presentation, and I did a lot of research on it. And man, back in the day, Lamy Electric was like a pioneer in the electrical. We did the first telecommunication system for the Biloxi Police Department. We installed all the electrical for the drawbridges. We installed the first traffic signals. So I feel and that was a conversation I had with my father-in-law upon taking it over, was upholding the reputation of the company, the quality of work that we perform. He's always said, let's see if I can keep from messing up. We provide provide quality service in a timely manner and at a reasonable price. Very basic, very simple. And that was what Mr. Lamy had instilled in him as far as running the business.
Did he work for Mr. Lamy? So
he did. In the 80s, my father-in-law was the chief engineer over at Keesler Air Force Base. And he started working for Mr. Lamy part-time. He worked for him in the afternoons whenever he got off work, and on the weekends. And he would work with him doing traffic signal work. And so in 2000, he purchased it from Paul Lamy. And at that time, Mr. Lamy had like maybe about 6-7 employees. And so my father-in-law, from the time that he owned it till the time I started working there in 2015, it had, I guess you could say, whittled down. He more or less owned it, ran it as a hobby. And so whenever I started working there in 2015, there were 2 electricians, a helper, and an office lady that worked 4 hours on Fridays. And that's what I started with. Whenever I started January 9th, I was the 3.5 employees that worked there. Got a shout out to my man Larry, Mr. Larry Fountain. He's a OG Lamy Electric employee. Been there way before me.
Showed you the ropes.
Showed me the ropes. Man, he still does to this day. I spent the day with him today, dude. Don't get him better than Mr. Larry. But started at that in 2015, and there was a lot of trials and tribulations. It wasn't easy. Started out with was awarded a couple of big projects, and we did well with them, and that was kind of our foundation. And kind of one of them was the Dido Road project. I mean, we were kind of doing okay, but we weren't like doing as far as more than $1 million jobs. We were awarded 2 of them at the same time. Like, I'm just trying to get one.
Yeah.
We got awarded 2 of them. One of them was the Dido Road project, Dido 3 Rivers, and then the other was the Galleria project. And I was like, man, if I can, that's why I always told Tracy, if we can pull this shit off, we'll be all right. We can figure it out. And both of them, I'm not going to say went well. We did well as far as being able to survive the entire process.
Did you hit the timeline?
Stay married.
Oh, yeah.
And stay married.
Yeah, we stayed married for sure. Timeline wise, it's kind of hard to do whenever you have a Stanley steamer van run off the road and hit your traffic signal poles the day before you put them up.
Oh,
But we got
Shout out Stanley Steamer.
Yeah,
We will plug
we
you.
will plug you.
AG Electric, shout out Gilbert.
Yeah.
Gilbert and I used to be neighbors.
He if you ever need a golfer, if you ever got to win somebody over, just take Gilbert with you.
Gilbert's a man on the
Gilbert's
golf.
the dude.
Yeah, he's a scratch golfer.
Talked to him a couple times. We've never done any business together, but his office is right around the corner from where.
So a Stanley steamer van hit your poles, and
Man, this is
what'd that feel like?
so many different.
I was gonna
stories.
ask what was
There's
like
so
the
many
craziest like screw up
So
or like
this is so both of these jobs had significant screw ups,
Okay.
big screw ups. The Galleria Project. So this was the Friday after Thanksgiving. I don't know, whatever, 2017, 18, whenever we're doing this project, 5 years ago. So, and I get a phone call the Friday after Thanksgiving from the engineer of the project. Neil Schaefer was the engineer. They called me and they said, "Hey, your traffic signal pole that y'all are fixing to put up has been hit. Need you to go out there." So I get out there and come to find out, Stanley steamer van is going southbound, going through the Divergent Diamond, going down D'Iberville Boulevard, and the driver falls unconscious. And the passenger just bails 30, 40 miles an hour. Passenger just bails out the door. The driver ends up running off the road. At this point in time, this is the Friday after, like I said, the Friday after Thanksgiving. That Monday, we were erecting this entire traffic signal pole arm assembly. The pole was already up, and the arm was built out, had all the signals, the detection equipment, had, I don't know, $40,000, $50,000, probably $50,000, $60,000 in this whole setup of stuff sitting on the side of the road. Well, Stanley steamer van runs off the road and hits the arm and then runs into the pole. And we've got about 35 contract days left of this job. Poles take 6 months to make.
tight.
And on this job, liquidated damages were $2,500 a day.
Ouch.
Yeah, so you're looking at 5 months, $2,500 a day, or hundreds of thousands of dollars in liquidated damages. I mean, my immediate thought was insurance claim.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? None of this is my problem. Stanley Steamer's paying for all this.
Yeah.
This dude, sure they got insurance. Well, come to find out, there's a state of Mississippi specific statute that if you fall unconscious due to an unknown condition, essentially you didn't know that you could pass out, go unconscious, you cannot be held responsible, liable for anything that happens
Oh
from
wow.
the moment that you go unconscious. And
That's the
so
thing?
Stanley Steamer's insurance, like, hey, here's Mississippi statute X, whatever, And I'm like, all right, whatever.
What other kind of statutes are there out there like this? What are we getting?
So it was good enough to where I forwarded that email from their insurance to my attorney, and he said, your best interest is just to eat it.
Really?
Because we could fight this. He's like, he said, we're going to have to prove that dude knew that he could pass out. That it
Wow.
wasn't an unknown. He's like, and they're legitimate. And so, I don't know, $8,000 to $45,000, $50,000.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But that was so you got both of them contracts.
So that was going on at the same time. And this is like, everybody thinks owning a business is all peaches and cream. But
No.
so at the time this is going on, and again, keep in mind, these are my first $2 million plus contracts. At the same time, this job is going on, Dito and Three Rivers is going on. And that one was, I don't know, like $1.6 million, something like that. And, but $1 million of the $1.6 million was nothing but light poles. And
No, light poles and labor included.
no, just light poles
Oh,
alone.
shit.
The cost of the light poles.
So
is
like the
$900
pressure
$1,000.
treated.
No, these are decorative steel.
Okay.
Like you'll have. So this is all the light poles.
I know where
from-
Dito is. Okay.
Okay, so all those decorative light poles.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like $995,000, and whenever I cut the purchase orders thing, I'm like, what if shit goes south here?
Yeah.
So, I got a lot of stuff around it. Anyways, I sweated it the whole time. It comes in. Everything on the poles goes smooth. We get the intersection up. Everything's good. We get paid. Everything's good. About a month after, we're thinking everything's good. We get a phone call from the engineer. Wagoner was the engineer of this project. He said, hey, these traffic signals at Dito and Three Rivers, your angles don't look right on the arms. And we go out there and take a look, and it's a long story. I'm not placing blame on anybody, but we installed all 4 traffic signal poles at the wrong angle. Now, at this point in time, we've already taken the old intersection down. The old stuff's gone, and new stuff's up. And they're telling me that I've got to readjust all of these arms on these traffic signal poles to come in compliance with the drawings. Were they functional 100%? Did the direct traffic? Yes. Was everything good? Yes. But they wanted them at the angles that the drawings prescribe.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, 2 big screw ups right off.
Major.
And look at you now.
They were tough, but to all that was, and that's kind of, I guess, the moral of this whole story is that these were some of the most like, and some of my competitors may or may not be listening to this. I mean, they go through the same things that I go through, and man, everybody sees the good side, the upside to what we do, and man,
a lot of back end.
There's a lot.
Do you like the headache?
Man,
I'm just curious.
That's a deep question. Do I like the headache? Obviously, no. Nobody likes the headache.
Or do you miss like the corporate where that you get your paycheck?
I don't miss 1 second in corporate.
So you do like, okay.
My biggest hate on corporate was the amount of time spent on things that provide no value at all. That was my biggest qualm about the corporate world of it. Yeah, I mean, I dealt with the whole you're numbered thing, and everybody does only what benefits them. But for me, it was the amount of time I spent doing reports or meetings or conference calls or whatever that provided no value. Because I always said to myself, if I own my own business, all this shit's getting eliminated.
Yeah.
If it does not provide value, we're not doing it. And that's so, or if I have this idea, there's so many ideas you think this would do so well if they would just let me implement this or give me the money to try this. And so now that I own my own business, I get to try those things, and sometimes they pay off and sometimes they don't.
Do you think there's in corporate, you think there's a lot of ass kissers? Just like it's teacher. I'm just curious.
Corporate world. So have either.
Yeah, I worked at the bank. I worked at a bank for 10 years or almost.
How many employees? Like
Bancorp South. A lot.
So how many? I mean, and I guess I'm asking like
down here. I mean, in my office, so it's probably 35, 38, something like that.
And I guess so. What I'm comparing to is like 30,000.
Yeah. That was probably that total.
It complete 100% on the ass kissing, but what you see is what they call the corporate terminology is silos. You have also known as cliques. So you have these silos of people, and that's where you either fail or fly in the corporate world. That's my opinion. That's my experience of it.
You got to fit in.
Do you think if I wanted to go to the corporate world, do you think I should go up the ladder as an ass kisser and just be a shadow?
Would not make it in the corporate world.
But you're probably
no, you wouldn't.
No,
you would not. Yeah.
I did.
No. No.
Okay, well, let's be honest.
It's way better the other way, though. Like you said, you wouldn't go back.
No, I would not trade. I think I mentioned this a minute ago. I wouldn't trade the experiences. I mentioned relationships, but experience. I mean, there's just so many things of what we do, business-wise, that I only know because of that. So,
yeah,
I would trade that experience for the world. It was the most invaluable, and I think about that frequently. I've got, like I mentioned, the intro, got 2 daughters, got a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I think about that frequently. What's good advice that now that I'm turning, I'm a father, I'm expected to guide my daughters in the right direction. What type of advice would I give them as far as making sure that ultimately they're happy at the end of the day? And as it pertains to the career side of it is, man, go to school or don't. I'm also a huge proponent of the trades. Choose what you're going to do and get that knocked out early on. And for my example, what I'm talking about here is go into the corporate world, get you a good experience. And that way you get paid to get educated on how to run a business or vice versa. And I guess I'm saying it's because they're girls, but to go in the corporate world. But as a boy, man, there's so much opportunity in the trades. I guarantee you, I've got a couple of younger people that are working for me so they graduated high school, they're working for me, that they will be making more, at least at a minimum, the same or more as the people that whenever they graduate college. But this 5 years that their peers have been in college, they're advancing money.
Yeah, they're advancing. Yeah.
And then whenever
it was like that whenever you got out of college, whenever I got out of college, like those people that you knew that worked and that had already kind of bought a house. And
I seen that with, like, for me. So when I got Janny King, I was like 19. No, man, but for me, like, starting to work.
An exception.
Yeah, but I didn't like, you're right. I didn't even like
Great White Buffalo.
The idea of, like, I don't know. I had too many friends they were so unhappy. A lot of my dad's friends got help me. My dad's had a lot of friends that were pretty successful, but they had corporate jobs, but they were miserable as fuck. I mean, they were like, I'm telling you, straight up wasn't happy. Seemed like a lot because I got to see it with my own pops though, and I don't know. I think if you can work for yourself, work for yourself.
100%. The other part too is, let's say you make a little screw up. Am I going to get fired?
Hell no, you're gonna learn from it.
If you own your own business, I'm talking about in the corporate run. You sweat
Heads
every little. You analyze like an email. Hey, I need to talk to you. All right, am I getting fired? I mean, that is the environment that they fester to where you fear for your life, and that I don't want to say fear for your life. You fear for your job. You fear for the safety of the income you have, and I don't want to say it's a toxic world because there's a lot to be valued from it, and I would not replace my experience with it for anything.
Yeah, and it's content. There's a lot of people that are content with that.
I think the hardest part of working for yourself is the vacation time. When you work for a corporate, you get X amount of days and you build it up. When you work for yourself, you got to set your own schedule on that. And if you go out, things might not get done.
But also, as an owner of a business, you've got to consider what type of vacation policies and programs you have in place for your employees, because you want to take care of them too. Where this is one thing that I do try and practice.
What does Lamy Electric offer?
Man, I'd like to believe we have a very liberal vacation policy. So let's say that you were to start tomorrow. All right. So in essence, your first year of employment, you will be entitled to 12 vacation days. So essentially 2 weeks and 2 days, I believe. It might be 10. I'm not the HR manager. It's 10 or 12.
Giving out some free dates.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. That's I got to be careful about this. So,
all right. What up, Todd Alley? That's brutal. Come on, Matt. You should know this, Mr. Insurance. Haha. Hey, Garrett, can you drop our insurance graphic, guys? If you need insurance,
yeah, holler at us.
Yeah, just drop our graphic. In the meantime, Garrett, can you drop the mattress commercial for all the fathers out there? Have you seen that one?
You're looking for a mattress? Come on down to Mattress by Appointment Go Shave. Help me feed my child.
10 days. Not trying
10 days.
10 days.
The answer is 10 days. If you were to start with me tomorrow, you're going to get your first year, you're going to get 10 days, and you accrue that. So each month you accrue it 0.83 days per month. So your first month of work for me, you've accrued.
Did you steal that from somebody else?
You're gonna find that to be very similar to somebody else. Where we differ,
you got to find what works and don't reinvent the wheel.
Correct. And and here's the other part of it. Before, I'm knocking my father-in-law, I love him to death, but his vacation policy was 1 day per year of employment. So your first year,
what the fuck,
you're a slave.
That's right. And I mean, but that's that generation of how. I'm having to adapt to the newer generation.
Are you serious with that 1 day? 1 day to be employed.
I don't know who's watching this, but I could definitely get some people to vouch for that.
What up, Woods? What up, Megan? Shout out to Megan, Miss St. Martin herself.
Yeah.
You remember Megan Woods? St. Martin's finest.
Miss May.
All right.
So upon my arrival, that was one of the first things I was like, I'm gonna get y'all some more vacation. So it was 1 day per year. You're 5 years, you got 5 days. That's how it worked. I'm sure there's probably a lot. There's
probably a lot more
that
don't have anything.
Yeah, you have no vacation. So
you came in winning over fans immediately.
I felt I was doing what was fair, to be honest. That and again, I mean, that's just how.
Well, I mean, if you don't adapt,
okay, 6 days for the first year.
6 days.
No, it's 10. I just checked it on my phone.
Damn, you got it like that. Like it's just ready to pop up on your phone.
She is the HR manager. So.
Okay. Well, let's go with what she says.
Can y'all go talk to Mark Alley and tell him we need some more vacation? Todd, what's your vacation time? Huh?
I said I'm not even done. That's just vacation day.
Okay.
All right.
Are they 6 days?
There are 6 days.
Okay, let's go on down.
You get.
Come on.
Pull it back out.
Check me on this one. I think it's.
Hey, Tracy,
what are we at now?
Yeah, what is sick days?
10, 3, 5.
What is 10, 3, 5?
I don't know.
It's got Morse code. Tracy, what is sick days? I did tell her in their office, I said, you should come one too. Did I not say that?
Yeah, but.
No, but I said that.
It's crazy. She's a very introverted person, but whenever you get her to talking, and she actually holds back.
But I did offer that in your office. Said you come one too. It was I extended that offer 5 sick days after the first year.
Okay, and so here's the deal with that: we front those to you, and whatever you don't use, let's say you go all year and you don't use your sick days, we pay you all of your sick.
Oh, so you don't roll over like AT&T used to do?
well, I'm just saying on the sick days. Let's
Like,
say
are you
that
pay for a full 8 hour?
Yeah, well, no, let's just say it's a reward for not using your sick days. And we do pay this out to several employees in full. Now, there's some that they ain't got sick days after February. But,
Yeah, COVID, man.
Well, no, okay. We call that.
Come on, dude. You know we're getting flagged now.
Yeah.
Why do you keep doing that?
I think it's over.
We're getting flagged.
I think it's
Because of
over.
using the word COVID.
Oh, yeah. We say that word a few times, we get flagged.
We always get flagged. I don't really care.
We
right.
have a senator on, we get flagged.
So 10 days of vacation your first year, your crew, 0.83 a day. I mean, 0.83 a month. 8, whatever she said, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days of sick.
We're going to
And
get you guys
then-
some applications after this podcast. You're going to go into work for y'all.
6 days for the first year. That's 6 days. That's correct. All right. So then, and then we have whatever, 7, 8 paid holidays. You know, your Christmas, your New Year's, Thanksgiving, whatever it is. 7,
Labor
8,
Day?
Labor Day, Memorial Day.
Yeah. Hunting
Moral of
season?
The whole story here. The moral of the whole story here is that I try and be fair with our employees, but also to where I'm competitive in the benefits we offer. We have full insurance. We have a retirement plan. I don't know if anybody's familiar with simple IRAs.
Yeah.
But we have simple IRAs we offer our employees, which we match. And all that was in an effort to attract and retain good employees.
Long term, too.
'Cause at the end of the day,
You got to think that way. You know, I mean, back to.
No, you have to.
Yeah. If you want, well, where do you want to go?
That's
Yeah, you want a good job. You want a good, get the good contracts. You got to play with the good people.
and especially on the level in which we operate. I mean, we're electrical contractors, but
All right. So who's responsible for setting up like the red lights versus green lights and
That's Mr. Larry.
backed up intersections and terrible?
who's responsible for doing what part of that?
Like the green light only lasting so long, and then all of a sudden it's back to red. Or sometimes, like on the Morton Boulevard, how it just skips a whole cycle.
So to answer your first part of the question, whenever we go in and construct an intersection, the timings are given to us. MDOT, Mississippi Department of Transportation, they provide timings to us.
Do they run stats, or how do they know?
They do traffic counts.
Okay, that's the ropes and
Actually, traffic counts come on most all of your drawings. They'll say there'll be an AM, lunchtime, whatever your, depending on what the intersection is, what their peak times are. Like, for example, Ingalls is going to have a morning and an afternoon peak time. Walmart is going to have a peak, and they'll tell you your peak times. And then that all goes into how you configure your timings of your intersections.
I've always struggled on my scooter. Every time I get on my scooter, try to sit at a light, I struggle.
So
I always run them. I ain't gonna lie to you. I always run them.
Without geeking out on this stuff, there's I don't know, for the first, I don't know, probably about 15, 20 years ago. I'm not no historian on this stuff, but
You are.
no, not this part. I don't
Today
know.
you
I don't know when
Today,
this,
you're on our show.
so
You are the
16 years
story.
ago, February
16 and
23rd.
a half years
February
ago.
23rd, 2004. They started. I don't know when
This
they
is a good show. This is a really good show.
I don't know when they started doing this, but anyways, so your standard loop is.
Is that what it's called?
All right,
a
so
loop?
this is a good opportunity for me to clear. I guarantee.
Yeah,
there's
let's educate
one
some folks.
person on this. That's out of the 3 people watching. There's one person that does not know this. That whenever you pull up to an intersection and people see the squares in the road, what are those squares?
That's the weight, the sign. Whenever you're there,
Yeah, I always think
triggers
there's
the
like a
light.
weight thing on there. That's
Or
what,
triggers the light. That's
Garrett,
what I thought.
Garrett, what's your vote? What's the square in the road? Weight. Weight.
Or
weight.
magnet, one of the
Weight.
two.
It's nothing at all to do with weight.
Oh shit.
They are. They're what's called inductive loops. So in essence, there's a wire that comes out in
God, we're so dumb.
in your old school. It's detecting metal.
Yeah, so it is a magnet, maybe.
You're,
or-
if you want to call it, that's fine. It's good. There's some magnetism involved, but you've got one wire that comes out and it makes turns around it. Okay, so back in the day when they first came out with these, they were 6 foot by 50 foot standard loop. Well, then they started identifying that 2 vehicles were not being picked up every time. That was motorcycles and 18-wheelers. And 18-wheelers, because their boxes were so high, the induction wasn't changing enough to detect them. So they started to come out with what's called quadrupoles. And a quadrupole is it's a 6 foot by 50 foot square, but there's also right down the middle of it. We can Google this and I can show you what I'm talking about, but it essentially makes a figure 8.
Garrett, can you pull that up?
Yeah, pull up quadruple inductive.
We'll go into this real quick.
Quadruple. Careful what comes up, Gary.
We'll get flat.
We don't want anything with double heads or anything popping up.
Keith Wilson says, #getting flag. Of course, we're going to do that. Nick's mom says, LE was awesome to its employees during the peak of COVID. Ain't your mom like a big time nurse or something? I know she runs something medical.
She's retired, but she was an administrator for her but her professional years.
Well, you're gonna love this.
As a nurse, and then she became administrative, and she was CEOs, and all.
Our show is called Kathy and Susie's Kids. It's named after our mom, so you love that.
Yeah,
it's a mom show.
Hey, mom.
Lago just got flagged. Easy boys. Okay, that's that Trump thing that happened today.
Yeah. So whenever you say we get flagged, what does that mean? Like, who sees flags?
Nobody.
No, we just get shadow banned on some of our stuff if we get into politics.
So right there, top right, that's a quadruple.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is, in essence, and the reason I explain this is your motorcycle wouldn't get detected because there wasn't a part of the loop was not in the center of it. It's now if you were to move your motorcycle to the edge of the lane, and that's just maybe a tip for people on motorcycles. If it's not detecting you, just move over to one side or the other, and the loop will pick you up. But with all that being said, new technology is going to video and radar detection.
I think if you don't want to do Lamy Electric anymore, you could be a professor or a St. Martin High School teacher at some sort.
What makes you say that?
Shop teacher.
Educating. Could be.
No, I think I just like bullshit.
All right. So do you guys have any kind of, I guess, intern programs or you said you're big into,
So
teaching kids?
I didn't mean to cut you off, but the answer to your question is yes. So we started out with 3, and we're down to 1 where we're putting them through the all right. So
it's a Votech
in the trade world, man, most of the time your unions are who dominate. Like,
yeah, I've heard of the electrical union.
Yeah, so you have electrical unions, you got welding unions, plumbing, roofers, steel, and all that good stuff. It's typically speaking where formal education in the trades occurs in the union. Union's very good at it. I'll give them credit. We're not union. We're a private shop. I don't have anything against the union at all. I think they have a great service that they provide. It's not for everybody. And actually, I found out back to the story about preparing for my speech at Blake's Business Club. I also found out we were union at one time. We had electricians that went on strike. So we have been union in the past. I'm not knocking union at all, but for me,
there's good and bad about union.
There is.
I watched
good and bad about everything.
Yeah, Starbucks just has their own union start, and people just started quitting, like striking at Starbucks. So you can't get your Starbucks anymore because now they got a union and they're striking.
I firmly believe that you talk to people that are part of the union, they're going to agree with the fact that there is good, but there's also some downside that comes with it. And I've talked to people that have done both, and it's really just 50-50. So that's that on that part. Union does a very good job of educating younger people, bringing them up into the workforce. So there is some private industry, nowhere near as prevalent as the union. We are doing, I don't know if my wife's still watching, she can tell you the name of it, but we are paying for our employees to go through school to become part of an official certification program. Okay. It's a 4-year program. But as part of that requirement of that school is to also have a certain amount of hours on the job. So he's getting that.
Double dividend.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to work. He's getting paid to learn. He's getting, and he's going to school.
Or she, Nick.
They. No,
not today.
I miss you.
Yeah.
So what do you think? You having a good time on the show or what?
Man, I'm good.
Yeah,
I was waiting to go
everything's
live.
Gucci. Everything's
we still haven't went live.
I know that's why I'm waiting for us to go live so we can start getting the good stuff.
I'm still trying to get some of your old servant stories from Kuko's.
So look at my say I'm a mattress store.
And
but hold on, Nick, on this. What's my mattress store during the pandemic and all stuff? My inventory went up like 40%. Did that happen with you in inventory?
Why did your inventory go up 40%?
Manufacturing, like they. I mean,
talking about
for like my mattresses.
Cost?
Yeah.
Okay, your inventory cost went up 40%.
Yeah.
All right. So
did it happen with you?
Yes, significantly. But I'm in somewhat more of a unique position because, we do a lot of bid work, and all we had to do is our bids had to be representative of those increases. And then the second part of our business model is time and material work, in which you take the cost of the material, you mark it up, and you have your hourly rate, and you mark it up. The one thing that we had to be very careful of, and I feel that we did a very good job of, is protecting ourselves whenever quoting and communicating quote expiration dates. Bottom line, that hey, this quote's good until this
30
date,
days.
and that matched the pricing that we were getting from our suppliers, vendors,
Oh, okay.
manufacturers. And then, I mean, by no means at all was it to screw anybody. It's just to protect ourselves on that front. There's several large increases that we were a part of that we did a very good job of covering ourselves, and we were not the company that ended up having to eat them. There's some bad ones right now.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Hope nobody, and they're probably watching.
Yeah, they're probably
Some of
watching.
them are
There's
probably
definitely watching.
I can't.
But they're not invited on the show, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, and it's not bad at all. They
Homies.
know that I'm just, it was as a man, I hate saying it, it's like by no means to make anybody mad. I just was covered on that front of it.
You gotta foresee and protect yourself.
That too. So there was that part, and that's all COVID derived, supply chain issues and all that. So the other, I guess you could say, big risks that were pertaining to COVID. I'm sure there's a lot of business owners.
Bring that big camera in, Garrett, on him.
that
He's in it deep right now.
No, and this is, I mean, this should resonate with a lot of people that are small business owners. So whenever COVID hits, so this is going to be March, April, so probably April of 2020. At this point in time, I'm sure everybody else can remember that nobody knew what was going on. I remember that being just abundantly clear that nobody had
Big
a
what if.
clue as to what was going on.
Do they still?
No, there's still a lot of doubt and question about what is actually going on. But at this point in time, because you were getting so many conflicting directives, variances of what was actually going on, it just got so bad that nobody knew what was going on. But this goes back to just running the business side of it. At that point in time, there was a decision that had to be made. Do I risk whatever we're at financially to keep all of my employees employed, or do I protect ourselves and make sure that Lamy Electric stays in business and start letting people go? Because we couldn't do nothing, we couldn't go anywhere.
Right.
At this point in time, PPP didn't exist. This is before the PPP stuff come out and all that. This is like this is that 3-week limbo that just nobody knew what was going on. And so there was a decision that had to be made. Do we let these people go and hope that everything, know that they're not going to make anything and hope they make it out right? Or do we risk all this and continue to pay our employees and hope that something works out? And I mean, that was something I remember thinking about. I mean, there's be nights I just think about like,
That's because you got a conscience, man.
The possible outcome of, well, I mean, I don't want to say conscience. It's more about I've got 20-something families that I'm providing for.
But a lot of people don't think that way.
That means you have a heart.
You have to.
You have a heart, dude.
You want to. You hope that
You
you're
got
working
to.
for someone that's
Hey, cheers to you on that.
Man, I appreciate that. But like, and I hear you saying that, but what other way is there to do it?
because we're from the South. We're like-minded, and I think I agree with you. There's no other way.
And I think that's what
you're a host at that point,
and you're successful because you are who you are. I mean, you have a big heart. That shows right there.
Man, I wouldn't say I have a big heart. I think that's human nature. I mean,
but trust me, there's people out there.
Out there, man.
So check this. I mean, at the end of the day, the decision was we're going to keep all these people, and if we run out of money, we're going to pay them till we run out of money.
Yeah.
Decision Tracy and I made. Well, whatever. 2 weeks later, they're like, "Hey, there's this EIDL, which was you get 10 grand within 2 or 3 days." We're like, "All right, we'll get that." And then the PPP come out and apply for that. So I mean, here all of a sudden were these lifelines and we were using it exactly what it was for, because again, we're in the electric job sites were shut down. Ain't nobody letting you in your house. Yeah. You ain't going in the restaurant, And the other part of it, what I was trying to push, so we do a lot of work in casinos. We work in pretty much every casino down here. And I was trying to push them like, hey, y'all are shut down. Let's get some of these
redo it now
projects that y'all have been wanting to do that y'all aren't on the gaming floor and in the restaurants. Y'all been talking about, we got to shut the buffet down to do this, or this whole row of slots to this. And I'm like calling all them. And I even offered to them at the time. I said, I will offer to y'all that if you let me do the work now, I will not expect payment until you open back up. And they were like, no, we don't. That's how
they didn't know what to do either.
Like, I can't guarantee you that we're going to pay you. That's
or open back up.
Open back up. they did not know. And so there was one casino that, I mean, it was like a $10,000 job that ended up giving us to do that. They kind of bid on that, but that was how desperate I was to get our employees back to work, because just not knowing what was going to happen. But like I said, then that's whenever the government kind of kicked in and considered us essential, and we were able to kind of get back. At that point in time, we had a big job over at the hangar in Gulfport at the Air National Guard, and that was like the government was the most prone to shutdowns and compliance and all that stuff. And so that was it was a big job. It was a very volatile job at the time. But once we got rolling back on that, I figured that, all right, if this is going, then we should be headed back in the right direction here.
And look at us now. We got
like
now we got monkeypox.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start all over again.
All right.
It's kind of first time I reflected back on that. It's kind of crazy. I mean, and it seems like it was all, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. This shit was 2 years ago.
Well, I'll say it's been an honor to have you on the show. Would you come back for part 2? We can dive into some crazy stuff.
Yeah, we could talk about fishing.
Man, 100%.
I'm proud of you. Did it's like I remember calling you a few months ago. I was like, hey, I want you on the show, and that was kind of the reach out. And it's watching you grow, especially been knowing you for some years, and watching you, take on and literally go from a corporate job that you earned and then walked out to starting this company with your wife and doing a family business, and you have Curtis Spears that works for you now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Curtis.
Yeah.
You've always just been Ivan's big brother to me, man. Yeah. Shout out to Ivan.
What's up, Ivan? Baby brother.
Yeah.
No, man. So I brought Curtis on board last year. Right out a year. He's been with me a year and a week now, 2 weeks now. Came in right in the heart of hurricane season and put him over the generators. And so before you could just hire somebody for a position, you got to have some form of income to support that element of it. So I spent 2 or 3 years growing the generator side of it. And finally last year, earlier in the year, I decided, okay, we've got enough going on this that I could support somebody full time for it, and brought him on board, and dude's killing it.
So let's go over what all you guys offer. So you do the municipality stuff.
Yeah. So I would say I don't want to call it our bread and butter, but our largest.
Garrett, can you pull up Lamy Electric, their website?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, what we're known for, what we've done since the beginning of time, where we thrive in, is the municipal world. It's and everything that we do in the municipal world, this is the kind of misconception. A lot of people think that we get contract shadily, things are not. Everything we do in the municipal world is bid work.
Yeah, that's how it all works.
And that's why, people will say there's favoritism here and there, whatnot.
I mean, you see these trucks everywhere.
The municipal world and Lamy Electric are 100. Everything we do can be paper trailed, bid submitted, the whole 9 yards.
But what if I wanted to hire you? Are you coming to my house to rewire my bathroom? Or?
No, sir. The only thing electrical we do not do is residential electrical work. Okay. I do have some service crews that do service work, but fundamentally, like I said, our bread and butter is the street lighting, traffic signals, the municipal world. We have a commercial side. We did the Jersey Mike's in D'Iberville. I don't know if you know or not. We did Jersey Mike's. We're fixing to do Jersey.
Shout out to Brett.
We're fixing to do Jersey Mike's in Gulfport.
We'll be doing a grand opening there.
Okay. We're also in the process. We're about 70% done with the Jersey Mike's in Orange Beach, which we're licensed in Alabama. Also, we do a lot of work. That part of town. We do some work in Florida also, but
generators. You said that. Is that all big commercial generators? Or?
So on the commercial generator side, fundamentally two different parts of our business handle the generators. You have your residential, the Generac side of things.
So you do residential generators?
Yes, that's the only thing residential that we do. We do some service work on the residential side, but generators are our primary niche on the generator side of it. And one thing that we offer on the generator side of things that others don't is a turnkey solution. We can, if let's say you just own a house and you don't know anything about generators and you want one to just be there, come on and work, we can handle the process from beginning.
It's pretty dope.
It is. And nobody else offers that. If you go to, not knocking anybody else, but if you go to Blossman or
knock them.
Gas, it's not knocking them. I'm just stating facts. I'm going to state facts that if you go to them, you can buy the generator and they'll come set it on a pad and they'll hook up your gas, but they're not going to do the electrical side, and all that's on you. And then there's some other companies that they'll just sell the generator and do the electrical, and then the other things are on you. It's a turnkey solution. So that's the convenience of being able to say,
Guys, we got hurricane season coming up. You might
Yeah, you
wanna
could get your generators.
and on top of that,
Lamy
since
Electric.
we're plugging shit,
we need to plug Eric McNally too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
Foursquare?
love that dude.
Foursquare.
For sure.
For sure. Sorry.
we've got a ton of generators on the shelf, so that's all I want to talk about on generators. But Eric Manali, Foreshore Transportation, you need anything moved, he can. What's it? He's
Little Andrew told me to give you a hard time. Little Andrew, did I do good? Did we do good?
I don't think y'all gave me a hard time.
No, I don't. I
thought it was
didn't.
I
Because
thought it was
nobody
pretty-
tells me what to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
I'm trying to think of what we give Eric. Something about loads.
If you need anything hauled to you,
No, I can't remember what we give him about that. He ain't listening anyway.
He
He's-
catches
he's
hell
in bed.
from all angles. So,
Yeah. He's in bed.
well, cool, man. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Man, thank y'all for
Let's do it again
It's
for
real.
sure.
Catch up.
and guys, we got this month we have
You got WLX.
Nate. We have the producer WLX. Nate's coming on the 15th. We have the 22nd. We have Magnolia Bayou, the band. We have the 30th. We have Brittany Reese, Olympian long jumper,
gold medal winner.
and
Pretty
seven-time world champion, huh?
That's pretty cool. I'm assuming she lived down here now.
Yeah, go
she's
for it.
coaching at Gulfport.
Yeah.
Track.
Saw that on the news.
So maybe you'll see us.
All right, Mom, I love you.
Yeah, y'all be good. Thank y'all for watching.
Peace out. Spectre
Tune in
Trout.
next week.
I got the yellow ribbon. So, it's okay. You know. How many times did you sit back just relaxing?